Hello, everyone. Welcome to the God of Games Season 11 cast reveal, otherwise known, cast reveal assessment, whatever the fuck you want to call it. You know how we do it here. The season is titled As We Watched, and it is based on MTV's A Challenge, where each round there will be a different format from the show, so it should keep people constantly on their feet, and there will be some firsts that we might talk about later. That being said, 4 years, congrats to us, woo. So joining me on this podcast, we have my co-founder, CFO, uh, Neth. You want to say hello to the great children of God of Games?
Hello, children of God of Games.
And one of the winners of season 2 of God of Games, Josh. Do you have anything to say?
Mm, hey.
Hey. Yeah. Like, no, but, yeah, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through each person as per usual, and I did rank them off of my power rankings based on not much. So yeah, we have 29 people to run through, so let's get to it. Um, Starting us off at number 29, we have Jay. And like honestly, I had no idea who this person was. Um, and they told me like when I messaged them, I'm like, "Oh, who told you about this game?" And they said someone named Jaden, and I was like, "Wait, I have no idea who the fuck that person is either." So like, I was like, "Well, you know, we'll give it a shot." So with this person, I do believe they, judging based on their profile, they're 16. So make of that what you will. Definitely one of the younger people in the cast. Not that younger people haven't done well. It's just I really don't know who they know at all. I have no mutual friends with them. I'm friends with most people on this cast, so that's why they rank so low. Josh, do you have anything to say about being a rookie in Ghana games? How do you think rookies typically
I
do better?
mean, it's pretty much easy. It's easy to look back at past seasons and see how rookies do. It's usually not too well at first, but if they can get through the initial few rounds, there's a chance. I think.
Right. And Jay's Cabana is their Roblox username. And the person that told them didn't even apply, so that's kind of funny. But I wish them the best of luck. I hope they have a good experience, but I'm not expecting much only because I don't know their Roblox skills, and they're probably going to be one of, if not the least connected person in the cast. Um, so moving on to number 28, we have Marina, and this is another person I put extremely low because first of all, they're being giving like low key an attitude when I was like sending them the invite and stuff because, of course, they're one of Let's and Owen's friends, and if you know anything about them, then that's the energy we're about to get, I believe. So she is definitely a fiery one, and I really don't know what to expect from her. But the only reason she's really above Jay is because, simply put, like I don't know like she has Let's and Owen basically. Her Roblox username is OMG underscore legendary effect. So we'll see if she has that legendary effect in this game. But I did just see she did win the Fortune Trials, which is a very difficult and well casted org. So that is interesting. Do you have anything? I
It's
mean,
not a vet. Am I confused? Because I thought we had a Marina that played
no, this is
in.
not Marina Vogue. That is
Okay,
Spoony's friend. Um, but yeah, I mean,
interesting to see how they do, given that information.
uh, yeah, I don't have much else to say in that aspect. Um, Josh, you may recognize this next person, aka Austin, aka Tiffany Truther, because they're currently, let me double check real quick. They're currently number one on the Kove's site. So Austin is Sober K, Sober Cat, whatever.
Okay,
Um, I have played Suitman Survivor with Austin, and we're recently on the winners season about last year. They also did try to qualify for God of Games. They're not the best at Roblox, and I think that's why I have them down here. But I do think with the Covey stuff happening and with probably like I could see them knowing like Patrick and maybe some other people from like some of these other like Discord type orgs. I do think they could slide by, but I don't see like necessarily long term potential, and that they'd say they don't know how active they're going to be at least at the start. So that's the only reason I have Austin here at number 27. Do you have anything to say about them based on your past
Um,
week of gameplay?
please. No, I think it's tough to say because that first week is really going to be crucial. But I do think at the same time having those connections like a Patrick or a Charlie or like someone like that could end up helping potentially. I don't know.
Right.
That could be something that really helps out in this first round, I think.
Yeah, honestly, this sounds like this sounds kind of fucked up, but like I feel like a lot of the people that come from the 10 gauge era that started on that site and then moved to Roblox aren't as necessarily gifted as some of the people that maybe started on Roblox like you and I, just because of I don't even know why, to be honest. It's just a trend.
I think we could be surprised here, though. I don't know.
I
Like,
think they could make a deep run. I just worry about them in some of the like last place type formats. But socially, I think they can do good. Um, so coming in at number 26, we have Kian. And if you have no idea who that was, Josh, I would not blame you whatsoever. But
the
Kian
name
did
looks familiar.
Kian did actually play on season 9, a rookie that qualified, and they did actually win 2 eliminations on that season, which is kind of like a crazy fact. And both of them were individual before going home with Spoony in the round right before individuals. So he was honestly someone never on my radar to bring back. But then he asked me when, like, if he could play the night, or like, he brought it up to me, and I was like, oh, I didn't realize you would be interested. He accepted the call, and he really, I did not see him do anything socially. I'm not gonna hold it to him, and that's why he's ranked so low here. I don't see him having the social connections, but he did take out 2 people like in eliminations, so like I will give him that. But I don't.
Who did they take out of curiosity?
To my understanding, sorry, fucking AJ's chart is like terrible. Shout out to AJ. But I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it. I want to say, God. Um, one of them was like David. Like David was maybe like one of them or something. I'm trying to fucking find this shit here. But I mean, they were somewhat. I think one of them might have been like not sure. I mean, I don't know. The first game was Rivals, which is a shooting game. We do a decent amount, and then they took out Nat, which isn't necessarily that impressive, and they kind of barely beat them. So I don't really know if that's like too, necessarily
Hmm.
impressive, I guess. But yeah, I don't really know. But that's why I have them so low. Do you have any thoughts on them? Like I feel like they
I mean, with the types of eliminations it sounds like they've won, they do stand a decent chance, I think. But I don't know. There is a few people here I'm looking at that could probably put up a better fight, I would say, maybe.
right.
Like if you're going up against like a Bart or like a Patrick, it's going to be a little more different, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
So they did beat Michael, who was the first boot, and unironically, both the other 2 people they beat were rookies on that season. And we're gonna actually both talk about both of them coming up. So that is kind of a funny like
Mhm.
season 9 storyline. But yeah, I don't really have much to say about Kian. I really hope you put in a little bit more effort socially, and then I think you can avoid some of those eliminations. But I do think you're gonna have a very uphill battle. And right above Kian is number 25. I have Nat. See, Nat's opposite of Kian. I think Nat is a little less, like, worse off at comps, but he is also someone that tried to like ask to, like come in and like play again. Um, but I don't really know like what he's gonna do like in the game. I do think he's motivated. I did see him very social, like trying to like talk to people. He just strikes me as someone that like he's never gonna be like, oh, we need to get this, protect this dude. And with there being like a handful of team rounds and a lot of people that don't like to piss people off, I do think he could be an easy vote for some, but I do see the potential there. All right. So after Nat, your number 24, we have Michael, and this is a very controversial cast pick. Michael, if you're hearing this, I'm sorry. There was the whole RLS situation, which a couple of the people have played on that season would be Jason, Patrick, some of the people you're playing with right now. Jason, Patrick were both in that season. Michael was in that season. There's Dino obviously hosted the season, so there is some interesting storyline there. He did get first boot, which is never a good sign. And I think the reason he is like someone that like in RLS, he won like a shit ton of comps. Like it was uncanny. So I do think he definitely has the Roblox skills, but he just strikes me as like someone that maybe come off as loud and arrogant. And we already have so many of those people that fill that archetype that are like more socially connected. So I feel like that's gonna hurt him. And if people want to take his target as someone that's considered to be in an alliance, I feel like they would go for him over other people first. What
Yeah,
are your thoughts on
I do
using this?
think I do think from what I can remember, Michael was one of those players that was winning a lot. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they were kind of one of the main forces going after Patrick in that same season, right?
Yeah, I would say so. It's been a
Is it? Do
saga.
we think it's fair to think that that may carry over here, like out the gate, or may like, or is there potential for that to be
I
patched and whatnot?
I I think there may be some animosity there, but I think Patrick has enough relationships with the people that he may be working with that like at least for a while it won't spill over. But I mean, Michael was very controversial in that season. I think there's a certain moment. I think you know what I'm referring to. But
Yeah,
anyway, but we'll see how they do. Um, Before I get to this next person, I want to introduce another person who is helping us do this podcast. They are a three-time finalist of Gala Games, four-time player. Um, they have always gotten last in all their finals. I'm just give it up for AJ.
Hello.
Right.
Doing good. Doing good.
That's what I love to hear. I'm glad you're back on production after making it to another final.
Yeah, I'd rather just do this. It's just too much doing the games. Like they're not long, but they feel long, and I just can't do it no more. I'm in retirement.
So moving on to this is an OG of the OGs. Um, Thunderstorm is aka like Eminem XXX or whatever your old username used to be. Josh, we've known this dude for like a fucking decade. And back then I used to find him like really annoying, but now that he's like older, I feel like he is one of the more well-rounded and genuinely nice individuals on this website that you can actually have a conversation with. That being said, I have him ranked this low because I could see just like an alliance forming, and I just don't see him like being in like the majority. And he is someone that I see also as someone that gets like collateral damage. Maybe not at the beginning. I could see like Tyler and a bunch of the heroes team back in when we did Heaven versus Hell, like Patrick, Dino, Tyler, Thomas, like some of those people working with him still. But like I don't necessarily think he'll be the best off socially unless there's like some really big two-side war and he's able to stay out of it. But I really do hope he does well. I love having him in, and he's a season one rep. Josh, you have anything to say?
I think I completely agree with you. I think he's gonna have a lot of work cut out for him if he wants to like stick around. Because like in comparison to his previous seasons, he really had your like CJ, you had your like Jelly, people like that he would easily connect to and be in an alliance with. This time he doesn't have someone like that for him. So I do think that he's really going to have an uphill battle here.
AJ, I know you played both seasons, I believe 6 and 8 with Thunder. Do you have any thoughts on him? I don't know how much you talked.
I mean, I think that he was really nice. Like you guys said, I think he was a really good person to talk to. I do feel like he could be susceptible to like falling through the cracks of not being a part of an alliance. So that could just be his downfall. But I mean, I'm rooting for him. I didn't know how young he was until like a few months ago, and I'm shocked because he just really has a good head on his shoulders.
We'll have to see how he does. I would love to see him make his first final. Speaking of people that need to make their first final, coming in at number 22, we have Justina. Justina is someone that is pretty popular, I would say, in the Roblox long-term community as of recently. I would say they've been around for a couple years now. I mean, I know, if I'm not mistaken, they have played RLS, and I know they're currently hosting the game Neth and I just played, the Survivor Long Terms with Prince Elf. Their old username was like Lost Chocolate, I think was their most popular one. But their Chanelina is their current username. I do expect them to work closely with like the Jasons, the Dinos, maybe the Riley, the Abhay. Like these are people that I do think Maddie. Like there's some instant like Qua Qua like connections I feel like they'll have there. It's just I don't know how good they are at comps, and I put them towards the bottom simply because I think more of the other people are just a little bit better compared to people that I would associate them to be like a rookie, et cetera, et cetera. But I do think they have a lot of good connections. They have good social chops, so I could definitely be underrating them here. Josh, you have anything to say?
That's off the top of my head.
AJ, do you know Justina?
No, I don't really know too much about her. Looking forward to seeing a rookie though.
Yeah, we got lots of them. But no, we'll see how Justina does. I low-key forgot that like they applied and I low-key forgot who they were, so like I didn't put them on the original cast. And then as soon as like someone said they couldn't play, they were like my first ask. So shout out to Justina. They messaged me. I'm like, did I not get in? I was like, oh shit. But anyway, moving on to number 21. the casting story behind this person leads back to today. But another person I low-key forgot was Shane What. And this is one of the other multiple season 9 rookies that we're going to be talking about today. And who boy, Shane was a couple field goal kicks away from making it to the final on his season. And if that season had a DVD cover, he would be on it simply because of how big of a villain he is. That being said, I do think Shane does have a lot of growing up to do. I do think it's been quite some time since what has happened, and I'm really hoping that does not get brought up because, there are some people here that a large part of the people are like parts of those communities, so I would really hope that, I'm all about second chances, but if anything gets mentioned, I will make sure to drop the hammer. That being said, he is a great competitor. He's pretty goofy, but he has a very weird personality that I think is low-key, like, it's, regardless if it's good or bad, he's gonna be a mess in some way, shape, or form. Josh?
He's going to be in a lot of trouble. I'm going to be straight up honest. Like, I don't know how to put it. It doesn't help that Timmy's on the cast. that much I will say.
Timmy's actually not on the cast. Timmy dropped today.
Oh, Timmy! Wait, is him? Wait, you still have him on the list, or am I crazy? I thought you. For some reason, on my thinking, I still have him on the list. I don't know why. Let's cut that out, okay? Cut that bit out. He's still gonna have a lot of trouble coming his way. I will say that.
AJ, do you have anything to say about your boy? I know you watched.
I didn't even play a season with him, and I'm mentally exhausted by him. Is that enough to say?
I think that's fair to say. I can't lie because I was
Like,
spectating as
I didn't even
prod,
play.
and it's a lot.
Like, it was exhausting just to watch him play the game, and the things that he doesn't understand. I understand that you are younger. However, the internet is so accessible, and yeah, I feel like you can definitely educate yourself, and he just doesn't.
Right. Well, God of games, God of growing up, type shit. So we'll see how Shane does this season. Moving on. At number 20, we have Jason, who Patrick played another person from that RLS season, RLS 7, that Patrick played in with Jason and not RLS 7, it's RLS 6, same thing. Jason, Michael, um, Patrick, like those types of people were all on that season. And I I put Jason higher because I have seen him compete. I've beaten him in elimination and went on to win a game. Shout out to CNR. But I really do like Jason. I think out of the people he kind of associates himself with, he's a lot more chill. Um, so I do have him higher than the people like Justina and a lot of the other rookies on here. It's just there is some sort of wild card element of you're a rookie, how much you're gonna put into this game. They don't realize how long the seasons run, and if they can withstand the fatigue, I do think they could be in a good position to make it to the final. Josh, I feel like you have to have played like some sort of game with them. I mean, past MDA member, if I'm not mistaken.
Everyone else is busy preparing the primary systems.
I can't think of the top of my head if I have or not. To be honest with you,
Your username is like Jason, like SUHN.
I think I've seen them, but I've never like one-on-one like talked to them. I feel like
Yeah. AJ, do you have any experiences?
I don't think I have any experiences with him. I think I've seen him in like INIs before. He could be like chaotic, but like kind of iconic. So like kind of cool seeing him on here. I hope he does well. I kind of like am rooting for a lot of the rookies just because I want to see some switch up.
Right. Best of luck to you, Jason. Rooting for you. Another person who this is probably like I want to say their fourth or fifth season. I don't have it memorized off the top of my head, but this is coming up next. Is at number 19 we have Joy, and Joy infamously played season 4, in which they debuted, and then they were part of my team, and then ever since then it's been a very rocky relationship. They infamously decided not to do the limb because they were doing tennis in real life or something, and then they're on season 9, was most recent, and they were definitely one of the alternates for their season for season 10, but I don't know. I want to like Joy, aka Nick, but I just don't know what they really are gonna bring because socially they don't really do much, and I get it. But you gotta be a certain level of good to not bring it socially, and I do think Joy is very good at some stuff, but then there are also times where they just don't give a fuck, and there are a good amount of partner eliminations in here, and we did see Joy go home in a partner format last season. So during the partner phase of season 9. So I don't really know what to expect. I do think out of the people you may see them working with, like the Rileys, all the rookies, kind of, I do think they are kind of towards the bottom of the lower hanging fruit. And I don't think more of the other veterans that don't typically talk to them are going to be looking out for them. So that's why I had them at 19. Josh?
yeah, I don't see a lot of people that Joy typically works with on this cast. There's there was that whole pre-made or whatever you want to call it, the alliance with CJ and them, but with that not being there, I think it'll be interesting to see how Joy navigates.
Do you have anything to say, AJ? I don't know if you really even.
I mean, I watched Joy on production. I mean, I like Joy. I wish I could see like more from her, but like I haven't. Um, I don't know. I want to see them do well, but like you guys said, like her positioning where she'll be in that alliance, it's not good, and she's definitely disposable to them. So time will tell. Like she might have to like actually start playing social.
100%. Moving on to number 18. We'll see if Joy can make their first final. Moving on to number 18, we have someone that is actually one got out of the game. They're the lowest ranked winner on this list. I believe we actually have 7, which means we'll be setting the record for most winners in one season. Let's go. But we have Spoony. And Spoony was someone I didn't really want to cast, and that's no shade. I do like Spoony, but like she is someone that I feel like has to take a season off every now and then. And I think when some people declined and I had to send out replacements and stuff, she was one of the people. She was talking to me and blah blah blah, and it seemed like she wanted to play, and I was like, you know what, fine, whatever. Like I just think that after putting her with Noah Condon as a partner and her getting called a war criminal, I feel like maybe maybe this is a way to make it up to her. But Spoonie is like Spoonie is very like this. When the other people have power, they don't really like give a fuck about like sticking up for her basically, and that's the biggest issue with her game is she can play the middle very perfectly, except the issue is like well, when certain people win, they're not gonna like be like they don't give a fuck. Like she's very disposable, I guess if that makes sense. So I don't really know what to expect. Maybe they'll make it to their second final, but we'll have to wait and see. Josh, I know you've played Spoony quite a few times.
I mean, it's quite literally what you said. Spoony loves to play the middle, but is never like high on the totem pole when it comes to things. So like, I do think if for Spoony this time around, I kind of struggle to see where Spoonie's going to be able to like latch onto. I guess you know.
Right. I do think with a lot of the people, there's already going to be so many other connections that she may fall, you know, down. That AJ,
Yeah, I don't see the typical group that Spoonie would latch onto in this case.
AJ, what are
Why
your
can't I
views?
hear anything? Oh, all right. I like Spoonie. Contrary to some, I've heard controversial things on Spoonie, but I like Spoonie. I worked with Spoonie a little bit last season. I mean, I know there's someone else in this season that's later in this list that Spoonie worked with as well with me, and I could see her going towards that person again and working with them and probably playing the middle. The thing is, like you said, Spoonie has to not only be social and play the middle, but has to make themselves valuable to multiple people, especially the rogue people that might win a challenge that don't really have a relationship with her. She's gonna have to start making one and work doing the groundwork for it if she wants to stay and doesn't get caught in the crossfire like last season.
Right, 100%. We'll have to see if she can make it back to another final. Um, Coming up next, we have at number 17, Mojiota Morgan, setting the record for most time between appearances. Morgan is an OG from season one of, if probably not the last person I feel like I could actually get back that hasn't returned from that season. Um, Morgan has always teased me about coming back, and then they actually said yes, and I was like, actually shook. I do think, I mean, AJ, you're gonna know a shit ton more than I am, but I do think based on my knowledge, they're gonna have quite a few connections, and I think the most realistic route to like an alliance is gonna be like something along the lines of like Spoony, Morgan, Brody, Qua Qua. Um, like that seems like a very core group I could see almost with Brody being at the center of. So, I do want Morgan to do well. I just don't. It was so long ago. I don't have that much of a recollection. I do know they lost to Pixie Pizza in like the sword fight on the Heights, collecting swords and limbs. So it was kind of fluky, but Morgan is someone that is pretty good. They play a shit ton of different games on Steam, on Roblox. So I want them to do well after coming back after all this time. Josh, what are your thoughts on Riri Rat?
I think if Morgan is putting his full effort in, I could see him actually connecting better with a lot of these people. Maybe not like I don't know. I could see him potentially talking to these people that are on the opposite, like the big groups. I would say, like either your RLS group, or whatever it is you have this season. So I don't know. I have high hopes for him. I'd say.
AJ, this is your bestie.
Yeah, I might be biased on this one. This is a fellow doll. This is a fellow sister. Um, I love Morgan. Morgan is someone that I can always say that no matter what game we play, Morgan knows a trick. Morgan knows something, and he's played it before. If I say I've never heard of that game, he's like, "Oh, I played it for like years." Like he just knows how to play games and knows how to do them well. And I think that he's kind of underestimated where he is because he is going to have like really good social connections with, of course, Qua Qua and Brody. I don't know about Spoony. I didn't hear about that, but Brody and Qua Qua, like those are two dolls too. Like they're definitely going to work together. And I would argue that Morgan would be closer to Brody than Qua Qua. I think that's just kind of a given. But I'm really looking forward to seeing him go into this. I know he's good at physical, and he is a very, very sweet person. And the benefit is, I don't think he's played a lot of one terms lately, so not a lot of people know him. I think he's got a really good shot.
100%. I really hope he has a great return season, and maybe we'll see him again after this. Moving on to number 16, we have someone who, I know someone on this call might have some things to say. We have Owen, and honestly, I think I put him a little high, I'm not gonna lie. I put Owen at 16. I do think the power of Let's and Patrick's, could definitely
Oh,
um,
brother.
definitely benefit him there, and then obviously it's this rookie girl Marina or whatever coming in. Like it's definitely gonna be interesting to see what transpires there. Owen is like a class act troll. And he had definitely in his part rivalry with like Charlie, which was like funny as fuck, kind of low key. So I don't really know what's gonna happen there. I know like between all that bullshit Leslie's probably gonna do with like Charlie and like Patrick and Owen and Marina, like it's gonna be a mess on her end. But I don't know. I can't put him any higher because I just don't think in this cast he has the connections. Josh, what are your thoughts on Owen?
Yeah, no. For me, it is like the little rivalry with Charlie is gonna be a problem. I think this time around, as opposed to before, because you don't have the whole team situation kind of being a crutch, I guess you could say, in a way.
Right.
So I don't know, and I'm not feeling the best about Owen's chances, if I'm honest.
AJ?
I'm counting Owen out so fast. I don't want to see him in this game for long. I don't think he'll be in the game for long. I don't think he has the social capital at all to do it. He definitely doesn't have the physical ability to do it. And last time he only got to the final was because he had two idols. And because he had Patrick, who was the strongest person on the other team, keeping the weak lanes, aka him and Let's. So, um, I don't see him making a final unless someone is really smart and pretty much runs the game as one person that's super strong and just takes a bunch of weaklings to the end. Then maybe they have a shot. But I don't see it. And I'm really glad I don't see it.
Sometimes the vision is blurry. We'll have to see. They've been one final. We'll see if they can make it again. One thing I gotta talk about is 29 people, 9 spots in the final. Final is cutthroat. 3 people will be winning this season. So he could be one of the 3. You never know. Moving on to number 15, we have Flo. And on a pure physical state, like if we're going pure physically, like I would have Flo a lot higher. Um, but I just can't. I just don't. I just think he's like kind of outclassed here with a lot of the pre-existing relationships that he's gonna have like no knowledge about. And I do think he is very skilled in eliminations. But one thing I do want to mention with some of the other people coming up is part of the issue with like there being so many connections on this cast is there are a total of 3 eliminations that'll be happening where you can basically get voted out pretty much. One being Battle Sexes 2, where 2 people will be banished via a vote. And another one is um, the island. So, he could become a victim of one of those. I don't think he would, but, if they're really looking for someone that just, to get rid of, you never know. But he did put in a lot more work socially last season than I thought he would, so I give him applause there. And I do feel bad because like Alex and Jess did not give like a single fuck about trying in the comps. Josh, what's your assessment?
I mean, I have high hopes for Flo personally because he is someone I think if it's a non-live daily, I think he actually stands a pretty good shot of figuring something out for it. I think, like you said, if his team last season was a little more motivated, they would probably be one of the teams to beat, if you ask me. So
100%.
I think on his own he'll do pretty well.
You just played with the major. Do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think he'll do well. I really don't know much about him. Like, we didn't really talk. Jess was my ally, so Jess was kind of in charge of him from my end. So, like, I didn't have to have those conversations. Obviously, I know he did vote me in, I think once. But, like, I I think he's a good player. I think he's strong. Socially, I don't really know that much, so I just kind of hope to see him do well because I do think he's just like one of those people that's like a dark horse.
100%. Um, Moving on to number 14, we have Abhay, otherwise known as Deholia. Now this is like Rip Felt's Riley's like number one. Like I'm pretty sure. Um, they run in the same circles, but I've like played against Abhay and like I'm and she is like on a fucking another level, like in terms of pure comp wise. So I am very interested to see how they do. I don't really know if they bring socially. I feel like they're gonna be a lot more quiet, but I don't really know what to expect necessarily. But I'm hoping that they do well. Josh, do you have any thoughts on Holy? I don't know if you've ever played with them.
I've definitely played with them before, but like I'm trying to say, I do think they are one of the stronger players on this cast. If I think back to it, it'll be interesting to see how things go.
What about you, AJ? You were
In the words of Mariah Carey, I don't know her.
well, best of luck to another rookie. And honestly, I thought it was fitting to put a second winner, Riley, right behind Abhay. And, Riley's, of course, technically lost the last elimination. But other than that, she hasn't really been, like, technically, like, eliminated in a competition that she's competed in. So there is that. Um, Riley is someone that is, like, pretty controversial, but, like, low-key, I feel like when Adore's not around, she's a lot more quiet in terms of, like, spewing shit. Um, but I do think she could become like the face with the door not being here of like being targeted, and that's kind of why I have her down at the bottom because in those rounds where it's like 1 or 2 people have a lot of power to nominate someone, I do think she could be like in danger. Josh, you have any thoughts?
I pretty much agree with exactly what you said. Um, Riley's probably be the main people go for, I think, here.
100%. And what about you, AJ?
It really depends. Yeah, I've noticed that Riley can be a smart player or chaotic for their own good. So it really just depends on what Riley we're getting this season. And without a door, I could see that kind of being better for him, but also could be dangerous for him because, like you said, he is a strong competitor. He's gonna have Abhay there. So like maybe there's a shot, especially if they can get an alliance quick. But it definitely will be people will try and take the shot at Riley first. So just depends if the bitch can win the comps or not. Which I don't really have a doubt in the ability. He's good. They're good.
I do think this could be the time we don't see them physically lose an elimination, but like I said, with the voting eliminations, I could see them being a prime target there if the other people like Patrick have the numbers, but I don't
Yeah.
see. I think it'll be interesting. Um, at number 12, we have another winner. We have B Winter, otherwise known as Tyler. And while I do like B Winter, like he's like someone that also can float by, but he can jump into like argue conversations that he's like not involved in at all and then like piss people off. So like of course he's gonna be with people like Patrick and probably, maybe we'll be close to Dino, who he won with, Thomas he just played with, but he pissed the fuck out of Thomas, pissed off Thomas, but he did give him his money, so you never know. Um, I just really don't think he cares that much about the social game. He is pretty good physically, but I do think, in order to see him make a final, we're gonna have to see him go into quite a few more eliminations than we have in the past few seasons. Not that he's not capable of. I just think the level of like taking the worst person at comps in this season to the best person at comps, I don't think there's that big of a gap. Like I think everyone's somewhat pretty good. So it's gonna be interesting to see if he can, keep that streak going because he isn't one of those people that has played multiple times and hasn't been eliminated yet. So we'll see. Former production member. Josh, you have any thoughts on Caillou?
Mm, nothing I can really think of, to be honest with you.
AJ?
I like Tyler. Tyler also suffered the same fate that I did when we told Noah Condon that we didn't want to vote a certain way. Um, so I think he's a king. He's funny. He's messy, and he loves to just like stir the pot a little. Whether it be like stealing all the money, throwing his name in 10 times on a wheel to decide to go into elimination. He's willing to take the risk, and it quite often pays off for him. So I'm kind of looking forward to seeing him compete. I feel like he's exciting to watch, and I hope he does well. I think he's got a shot to get to 9.
Oh, 100%.
Like a good
Um,
shot.
moving on. We are down. At number 11, we have another person that was a replacement, and I have Jess here. Jess is someone that is like so good at like going like UTR. Um, It's like so funny to me. Like she's a very underrated competitor too. Like every time I like she's had so many moments where I'm like, oh, like I don't think about her in that way. But then she comes out of nowhere and like fucking like does good at like she got second to Aiden in the final in your season AJ or like
Yep.
she defeated, like she had a good run on her original season. She made it to the final last season without seeing elimination. Like she has the skills. It's just does she care enough to actually partake in the challenges? And that's the only worry I really have with her. Because there are, times where you're going to be partnered up with someone, you're going to be in a team, and I think that's the biggest question mark for her game is can she actually communicate with their people to win comps. But Jess is one of those people who hasn't won yet that I do somewhat see having the potential in the right circumstance. And with 3 people winning on teams, this could be it. Josh, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I agree with you. I think Jess has a decent chance this time, given the layout of this cast. I do think Jess could probably lay low in terms of the sides forming.
100%. What about you, AJ?
I'm excited for my fellow T Circle member. I think she's got a good shot, like always. I mean, she does have a really, really good social game. She knows how to work people. She knows how to play the middle. She can crash out at random times, which could be her only downfall. Besides the fact, because honestly, I think that sometimes her not caring about these challenges and not doing some of the dailies kind of benefits her. She doesn't have to get into the limelight. She doesn't like making those choices if she doesn't have to. She'd rather have someone else do those choices for her. And she's got no problem doing it. The problem is if she gets too messy at one point and she starts doing too much, making too many alliances or something, or talking to too many people, she could get caught and she could be ending up in a role that I fall into sometimes.
100%. I really do have high hopes. I mean, Jess is one of like the top 10 people in money earned. Like, she's no joke. So we'll have to see how Jess does. Speaking of top 10, coming in at number 10, I know this person listens to the fucking podcast because he kept bothering me to put out the last one. This person, I don't know, they're playing a Roblox game despite their Roblox getting like terminated. So I know I gotta get their alt made soon. We have Thomas, aka Forex. They infamously made it to their first final last season, and Thomas, I love you, but I have to say, like, if Alex wasn't on that vacation and we didn't rush that elimination, like, I do think you lose. No tea, no shade. But because we changed it to a non-live format where you weren't actually PvPing each other, I think it definitely helped you out. That being said, I still do think Thomas is a very social player, and we saw in season 9 before Thomas like low-key ratted out that 2 exploiters that he was working close with Riley and stuff. And low-key, I do think like Thomas is still good with Riley. It's more so a door that he starts walking on eggshells, and playing with. And he did play. He was from the group of season 8 people, and there are quite a few of those people from that season on the cast. So there is that, and then he has also played RLS, and he's a little bit active there. So I could see that being something. Like I see he played with Qua Qua and Brit. So who knows? I do really like Thomas, and he does care about this game. So I really do hope he does well. I would love to see him win. I always root for like the people that have never won before. But Josh, this is your rival.
I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I actually am pretty high on Thomas's chances the more I think about it. I think socially he's actually pretty secure, I would say, in terms of just all around. I don't know. I don't see anyone really coming for him, I guess. And plus, last season he definitely proved, I think individually for his own team, that he can carry when need be. Just like, I don't know. I feel pretty good about him.
AJ?
Yeah, I share the same sentiment. I feel really good about Thomas. I like Thomas. Another person that I worked with, I enjoyed working with him. He's funny. He's smart. He knows what he's doing. I still love the fact that he outed those 2 exploiters and caused that whole thing. It made his game harder, and he was still able to fight through. So I feel like, especially with 9 people being in the final, he has a very high shot at making it. Just because of how he plays this game, it's respectable.
Right. I fear for him in most eliminations. That's no shade towards him. But nonetheless, we love you, Thomas. Moving on. Number 9. So going into single digits here, we have Let's, and if I overrated Owen, I know AJ's sitting here, about to drag the fuck out of me in a second, but I haven't talked to Let's in a minute, but I do we trauma bonded over a very long game of Superman Survivor. So there is that, and she was able to latch on to the game bots like Charlie and Patrick in season 8. So I do give her credit there. Obviously, she had a pre-existing relationship in Patrick, but like I do. What's up? Hello. Uh, anyway, with Let's, I do think socially, she being one of the women on this cast, I feel like that brings people in, and she's very charismatic. So I do think people will somewhat gravitate towards her. It just depends on like if they're gonna put up with her trolling or if they're gonna like be sick of it, like HJ was. Um, so I don't know. Let's is definitely an interesting personality in this cast. I think I only have her that high because nostalgia, and I do think she can latch on without being seen as a threat, which might benefit her. Josh, what are your thoughts?
Mm, I mean, for me, it's tough to say. I would kind of put them kind of closer to, like, I would say like just above Owen, but like barely. It's my personal opinion there, but I don't know. I'm not feeling great about Litz, but I could be surprised.
100%. AJ?
Can I do my thesis?
Oh God.
Oh boy.
Trash,
Oh,
filth, trash, garbage, dumpster, filth, trash. I don't think this bitch has any shot at all. I think that after season 8 and everyone saw what she pulled, I think there's a lot of villains that don't like her. I think there's a lot of I think there's people that were out of the game that don't like her. I think that she's gonna have a very hard hill to climb up, especially when she's kind of shit at comps and socially. Half this cast dealt with her, and they don't want to deal. I'm sure a lot of them don't want to deal with her again, especially if they have a team format as the final. If they I don't see this one doing well, and I'm very glad about it. I think she belonged like right around where Owen was ranked because I just don't see it for her. If Patrick goes early, it's done. It's curtains.
I was I that yeah, that was good. That's the content we see for in these podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
Um
Mm-hmm. You're welcome.
anyway, moving on to number 8, we have the Gamebot himself tying the record for most seasons appeared in without winning. We have X Charlie X. Charlie is a good friend, but I don't really know. I don't know. Like it's hard to like think about where he fits in. Like obviously he has Brody, and he was trying to. Obviously, if Timmy would have been, he would have had that. He has Let's. It's just how well can he integrate himself in like this new era, this rookie era, without looking like a game bot and like being annoying. You know what I mean? Because Dino saw right through that shit. And if he thinks he's going to be able to target Dino, he's sadly mistaken with all these people that are close with him. So I don't really know what to expect from Charlie. I mean, I would love to see him win so then we can stop talking about it, but I don't really know. Josh, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I think he's gonna be the target of a couple people in this cast, but like, I don't think it's gonna be nearly as much disagree as we typically see. Potentially, like I
Right.
think like a Riley or someone maybe goes for him, but even then, I don't know.
AJ?
Oh, Charlie. Um, I mean, I'm gonna keep it all T. Charlie was a little. He wasn't nice during his cast assessment of me last season. So I'm gonna keep it the same. I'm gonna keep the same energy. I'm not gonna be mean, but I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it at the same level. He's a good player sometimes, good competitor most of the time. And it's just a matter of if he makes the right connections and he doesn't talk to the wrong people. And the problem is that's kind of like Charlie's MO, is that he'll say the wrong thing to the wrong person and not realize it until much later that it fucked him. And I could see it kind of happening here. I mean, he kind of just has to stay with people that he knows. I mean, he's got Brody. That's a good person to always have. I mean, take it from me. So,
Right.
yeah, we'll see. It's a hit or miss with Charlie.
Moving on to number 7, we have. Where is it? Patrick. Oh, Patrick, how you've fallen off. No, Patrick knows I love him, but honestly, like, that season 9 final performance has really, like, soured me on him. Like, of course, I didn't expect him to beat Adore. We all know what happened there. But just didn't do that good, and there were a good amount of obbies in that final, too, so I was like, that was very interesting to witness. That being said, I don't really know where he's gonna land, because he does have a lot of those connections with, like, some of the RLS people, because he's played with, like, Jason. I know he just played with Qua Qua and fuck, who's the other one? Someone else on here. Maddie, and Dino obviously hosts, and I know he played with Mike. So there's definitely a way for him to get with those people, but I don't think he's gonna ever be close with them. And while he's doing that, he's gonna have to, like, stay away from, like, fucking Riley and, like, all those people. So it's gonna be a very interesting game to see him navigate. But he is someone that I do think, if he wants to, he could kind of lead a counter side with, like, Thunder and, like, Tyler and maybe some of those people. I just don't think he's going to do that. I don't think he cares enough or has the energy socially enough to do that. But yeah, I do wish good things. He is in the Hall of Game, but I don't know. It could be a rough season for him. He's only ever been eliminated once, but with there being voting formats, he could get sniped before we hit top 20. Josh?
Yeah, I think that with Patrick, he's typically the type that where he's confident in his abilities. So it's like not a big like concern to him to socialize. I think, I think honestly with this cast, I don't see it being a huge issue for him to play that way. If I'm honest,
Right.
I don't know. I don't feel, I don't have anything like super negative to say about him. If I'm honest.
No, I totally get that.
Just under 5 light years.
AJ?
No quest planets.
Yeah, I'm like kind of interested to see where this goes because Patrick, like, I don't think he'll put in the work socially, but like he is a naturally good competitor. I do think that like when you did talk about how you were soured by that final, I don't think that was entirely his fault when most of them were kind of sharing the stages of what was going on. Adora ultimately got the best help, but everyone was getting a little bit of help.
Right.
So I gotta give it to him. Like he kind of did his runs straight off, no help, no knowledge prior. Everyone else had some knowledge prior, so they had practice.
Mhm.
I think he could do well, but I kind of don't. Like, I want to see him do well, but I don't want to see him do well with like Let's Not Win. Like,
He could be the first 3-time winner. Who knows?
yeah, as long as it's not with Let's and Owen, I'm fine with him going to the end.
Moving on. At number 6, we have a rookie. This person is actually one of the highest priced rookies. I have a bunch of rookies high this season. I had this guy named Hardwood Warrior, and I don't know if you guys were in the pod chat for this, but the reason I have this guy so high is because I like cast him or whatever, and he actually messaged me during this podcast asking when the season starts. Like he's ready. But he's someone that did so many qualifiers, that came so many close so many times, and like he's actually pretty fucking good at Roblox. It's just a lot of them were social elements, and he just wasn't really in. He's not really that much of a social player, but I do think physically he's one of the strongest rookies. Probably between him and DeHoly are probably like the top two in my opinion. I played a Survivor game with him, and he is just lights out in comps. Like it's fucking tough to go against that dude. So I don't really know what to expect from him, but he did say one. I forgot to mention. He did say he listened like 3 or 4 of the podcasts already to get like reads on people. So he's like studying. Like I've never seen a rookie do that. So it's like I want to root for him just because of that. Um, what are your thoughts? Do you have any thoughts,
It's
Josh?
beautiful.
You have a strange eye. I mean,
I think this is one of the most idyllic settings.
yeah, that is definitely a length to go. I just don't know enough about them to know what they're truly capable of. Is the problem. It's one thing to know, like what you're walking into, but it's another to know how to act upon that information. From at least for me.
Right. I mean, I don't assume you know who this person is, AJ, but
I don't know who they are, but I do remember like doing the qualifiers, and he was someone that was really good. I do hope he does well. I hope that like while he takes his chance, I like that he's studying stuff like that. I think that's kind of fun. I think it adds like a new layer. It adds like a new game bot. Like, come on, yeah. Like, I hate game bots when I'm in the game, but like to see a game bot sometimes, I like seeing someone that wants to try and play hard. And I hope he has the chance to do it.
right. 100%. Um, moving on to the top 5, we have another rookie. I have Maddie, aka Maddie the Princess, aka Kuromi Kitty Cat. Fucking, I don't know how that fucking username is. Like, I do not play that many Roblox long terms anymore. Maybe like 3, 4 max a year, right? And it's mostly when I'm like invited by someone I know. And yet, I've still played with Maddie like 4 times in the past like 15 months. So it is like fucking wild. Like, and she does the challenge Discord orgs, so there's that bullshit going on. Um, and she is someone that like she she always gets herself into trouble. Like she gets in the middle position, she rides it for 2 weeks, and then she gets sniped. However, this is not that kind of game. I don't think many people play Gatta games like that, like Big Brother Survivor. So I do think with her vast amount of connections, she's going to be a hard person to get. And just because of that alone, like I do think she's going to be in such a good social standing with people. She's got all the RLS people, and all of her friends outside of that. So that's why I have her this high. Josh?
I personally don't have a ton to say here. I know they run in the I think I've seen them potentially in the RLS like community, but I don't really know who they're connected to necessarily, I would say.
Right. AJ, I know you're in a couple of those challenge servers. I don't know if you played any Roblox games with Maddie, but do you have any thoughts?
I mean, I don't really know who they are, but I'm excited to see like a rookie this high. Like that makes me want to keep an eye on them. To see that you're ranking them this high, like I'm curious as to like I'm curious hearing everything that you guys have had to say. Like I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, I definitely think she's going to be one to watch, especially for the rookies. Um, we'll see how Neff ends up finishing RLS with her. Moving on, we have at number 4 the host of RLS actually, Dino. He actually won season 8, as we know, And low key, no shade to Dino, but like I thought like he was a lot better at Roblox than like he kind of was when I saw him. Like he was always kind of average, and then he was kind of like not that he was like terrible by any means, but he was a little slow. And maybe that's because I was comparing him to like Tyler and like Patrick in the final, but
First
um,
officer's log
I do
stardate
really like Dino. He has ease with
46392.7.
coming back in
We're
season 9
preparing to
and
launch a
10.
rescue mission to
And the
find
crazy
Commander
thing
Cisco.
is
But
like
first, our
he
navigational
literally
sensors
like
must be recalibrated to look under the conditions reported by
basically gave
Lieutenant
up his
Jess.
spot to a
It is
door
no
in like the
ordinary
last
wormhole.
qualifier, and a door got on,
My analysis suggests that
and
it isn't even
we
a
all know how
natural
season 9
phenomenon.
went. So
Not natural.
I am rooting for him. I do
It's
think
very
socially he's
possible
going to be in
whoever
a
made
real
the
good
orbs
spot.
also created
The
this
only issue
wormhole.
is like if they're
And that
with me
seems to be
saying
the
like how
position.
good
On the course toward
like
the northeast
people
mountain.
are that are going to be like
Mr.
left in the
O'Brien,
game come the final, like the difference of
what would
skill
it
is not
take
that
to move
much.
this
I do
station to
think,
the mouth of the
you know,
wormhole?
maybe there's
This
a
isn't a
potential world where
starship
he holds his
engine.
team back,
Got 6
but
working
I
thrusters
don't see
balanced,
really
and that's
any
it.
reason why he shouldn't
160
make the
million
final.
kilometer trip would take 2 months. It has to be there tomorrow.
What are your thoughts
That's
on
not possible. A wormhole might just reshape the future of this entire quadrant. The Bajorans have to stake a claim to it.
Sorry, who are we on again?
Dino?
Who are we on?
Number 4.
I know. Oh, cut that out, by the way, Neth. For me with Dino, I think, yeah, he's definitely gonna be one of the more insulated players, given he's hosted a handful of these people. So it's definitely nice to have. I didn't quite closely watch when he played on the season he won, so I don't know what to expect in terms of how much he will do in competitions. But I think just socially alone, he has a pretty decent chance, I think.
Right. AJ, what are your thoughts?
I think Dino has a really good shot, especially with like all the RLS people. He did play like Ionize and stuff like that at one point, once upon a time. So he knows Brody and Qua Qua too. They were friends. And Qua Qua also played on RLS too, so that helps as well. I think that he's got a really good shot to get to the end. I'm excited to see what happens.
Alright, moving on, we have our top 3. This is the highest ranked rookie. I'm sure you know this person somewhat, AJ. I put Qua
Yep.
Qua at number 3. And this is definitely probably like an overrated type thing, but I do think Qua Qua is someone that is very like skillful in terms of like their social game, and I know Neff's playing with them right now. They do have a good amount of connections in the game, and I think that's why I have them so high. I do think while Brody may be the glue to like the alliance I've spoke about in the past, Qua Qua is going to be the one that's like seen as like easier to open up to because Brody's a little quiet, like no tea, no shade.
hmm
So if Qua Qua actually tries in this game, depending on how big the overlap is with RLS, I could see them doing really well, and I'm really happy they're finally playing. Josh, you have any thoughts on Star XO?
I really can't make any comments here. I don't know enough, if I'm honest.
AJ?
Well, I'm excited to see Starry play. Starry is I will always say Starry is a very good player. I would argue that you could honestly switch, like you could put Brody in front of Qua Qua or Qua Qua in front of Brody, and like they're kind of like neck and neck. Honestly, they're both really good at at challenges. They are very well socially, very smart strategically. I'm so excited to see Qua Qua play this. I think that Qua also has the ability with like how he is socially. He's like a chameleon. And he can be a little bit of a troll, so he can get along with the trolls and like Let's and Owen and such. He can get along with. He doesn't like Riley. I know that. I'm pretty sure. So I think like he's got ideas, and I think he'll be able to put them into action as long as there's not too much overlap with RLS. Because I do think like it'll be hard for him to put so much time into both games. But if he has the time, he will put it in.
100%. it's gonna be interesting to see how they do. Moving on to the next person, you just mentioned them. They're probably one of your besties. We have Brody. Now, after him leaving the server before last season, I didn't think we'd ever really see them again. But I do love Brody, so I'm not gonna shade him. Um, I I have him here because every time I'm like, oh, Brody, like he's kind of there. Like you don't really see much of his game, and he'll see a couple eliminations towards the end because people figure out that he's like actually in the game. But for the most part, the only time he ever lost was when he was partnering with Giselle, and he's played season 1, season 2, season 3, like season 5, season 8. Like he's made like 4 finals, and there's not many. I think one, two. I would have to look, but he is a fucking beast. He took down. Didn't he take down Aiden, or am I like making that up?
He
Like,
no, he did. He did.
yeah.
He went against Aiden. I went against Adore.
Um, and then like, I don't really know. I think Brody's very like under the radar, and he's very competent when it comes to comps. Like, he's not necessarily the best. Like, but I would say he's probably easily top like 7 in this cast. And I do think if he's gonna be the glue to keeping some of these crazy crackheads together. But like, I don't see people ever like targeting him necessarily, and that's why I have him here. And maybe he's the first 3-time winner of Gala Games. Who knows? Josh?
Yeah, I think. hmm, I could see Brody doing really well here. I think he's definitely one of the strongest players on this cast, I would say. My only worry is if he somehow ends up in elimination with, like, say, a Patrick or a Charlie. Like, it depends on the type of a limb, I think.
Yeah.
That's my only worry. But other than that, I think Brody's gonna do all right.
I think the only time that Brody might face some struggle would be a vote. And even then, I think he will have the friends and he'll have the allies that will keep him safe. I'm really excited to see my friend. I don't think like it was funny. He actually asked me if I was gonna play this, and I said no, babes. And he was like, "Oh, you're lame." And I said, "No, I'm on production." He was like, "Oh, work. Like, have fun, enjoy." I was like, "I will. I can't wait to watch you flop." But really, I'm looking forward to him. I feel like he's a good player all around. I kind of hope he is the first 3-time winner because then it gives like no argument. Like he belongs in the Hall of Game.
Yeah, I do really see the vision with him, and I really hope he like doesn't leave the server after this shit's over. But moving on to our number 1, and I feel like it's only fitting after last season. They put up one hell of a performance, won multiple eliminations. Honestly, kind of had me shook. Won multiple daily challenges. He is the man, the myth, the legend. I believe he's from Poland. Bart. Um, yeah, I do think he has a good amount of decent social connections. He's very strong physically. Um, he's not necessarily the most social. He's not he's like if you had to rank season 9, it would probably in terms of sociability, it'd be like Jonas, and then Bart, and then Alex. So, but that being said, he already has a good amount of pre-existing relationships. The only situation I see him being in trouble in is if in a duo situation, like he did go home in season 9 with in a duo comp because he doesn't really unmute, which isn't necessarily you don't have to be unmuted to win a duo elimination, but a lot of these elims are live this season. I will say that at least like the duo ones, I'm pretty sure every single one is live, and there are 4 duo rounds, so that is my biggest fear with him. I do want to see him do well. I would love. It would be crazy if he won, a second season back to back. He's right behind Patrick in the bank account, so we'll have to wait and see. Josh, what are your thoughts on Bart?
I mean, Bart's someone I personally don't see going home at any point in this season, if I'm honest. unless there's some luck element involved. That's my personal take.
100%. AJ?
Yeah, same. What Josh said. I don't really see him going home unless there's some sort of luck-based element. I mean, I think I think with some of these rookies and some of these people coming back, like Morgan and Qua Qua, I think they could give Bart a run for his money. I think Brody could too. They've never competed on a season together. So I don't know. I think that there's like some competitors here that could give him a run for his money, or he could be smart and they could be smart and they could just end up working together and just kind of be a powerhouse. So it really depends. But I know Bart also kind of has just friends naturally in this cast. So he probably does well. Like I don't see him going home. I think he makes a final, whatever team he's on, unless he gets really team fucked. I think he wins.
Right. Well, that's everyone. I mean, before we wrap this up, we always do a thing where we predict the first boot and a winner pick. So obviously 3 people in the season. We're gonna keep it classic. You can only pick one person. First boot, I'm gonna say Kian. I don't know why. I just see him ending up in elimination via vote. And winner pick, I'm gonna get one. You know what? I'll pick Blow. Josh?
I think for me, I'm gonna go with the vet for the first boot and say like Thunder. I don't know. I could see something crazy happening first round potentially. And then for a winner pick, I'm gonna have to go with Bart here.
And AJ?
For first boot, I'm gonna say Shane, just because free agents also has the winners vote someone in, and there's the draw. Winner, Brody. I want to see him win.
Well, guys, thank you for joining me in this podcast. 4 years, season 11. Holy shit! And I'm really looking forward to what the fuck happens, because honestly, it could be anything. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.